The first thing we hear as we walk into the theater is the sound of crickets slowed down. This angelic chorus sound you're hearing is actually the sound of real crickets slowed down electronically in time, which the show program will note at the top in large letters. The first thing we see as we enter the theater are bubbling brooks beneath our feet, running underneath the plexiglass walkways throughout the theater. As we look around the theater, we see waterfalls lining the back walls. Plants and protected candles are positioned throughout the seating area. As we wait for the show to begin, we see stars projected on the ceiling of the dome. We then see a beautiful sunrise on one side of the dome. The sun quickly travels across the sky, followed by a beautiful sunset. We then see the stars emerge. We see comets, shooting stars, and then the sun rises again. While waiting for the show to begin, we probably witnessed about 20 to 30 days projected across the ceiling of the dome. On each day, the weather is different, from perfectly sunny to stormy days. As the show begins, our seats recline. Each seat has 7 speakers in it. A speck of light appears in the center of the dome. It wavers. Then there is a huge explosion of light. We then see visuals of galaxies forming. Then we zoom in on our own galaxy. As we zoom in on our own solar system, the Earth appears. The visual of the Earth expands to fill the entire ceiling. The seats then sit up, and a woman on stage has a baby on a spot of grass. We then hear the mother say, "The Earth is born." Angels hover around the baby. A light body of the baby, which is a transparent image of the baby's body, floats up above him. This image of the baby is a 3D holographic projection. We then see a ball of light representing the heart appear. It circles the light body of the baby and lands in his heart. A second ball of light representing the mind appears and goes into the baby's head, where it also lights up. A third ball representing spirit hovers above the baby's head. While the balls of light are appearing, the child's mother sings to the baby, "When the heart, mind, and spirit are connected, the earth is saved." Then as the 3 balls of light line up inside the baby, a beam of light shoots up to the ceiling and connects with the sun on the dome. A flash of light happens and the lights go out. The lights now come up slowly, and we see an incredible scene of nature on the stage with trees, waterfalls, animals, and birds. The waterfalls behind the audience are now gushing, turning the bubbling brooks underneath the aisles into rushing streams. Spectacular scenes of nature on Earth splash across the dome above: waterfalls, soaring mountains, forests, and oceans. On stage, we see each of the 4 elements come alive as choreographed troops of dancers. We see a beautiful dance performed by each of the elements: air, earth, fire, and water. The dancers are majestic, but they're also quite funny in their antics. First, we see the air dance. In this dance, the Earth character is about 5 years old. He actually gets older as the dance of the elements progresses. First, an angelic being brings a holographic ball representing the element of air from the north corner of the auditorium and presents it to the Earth character. He throws the ball up and it explodes into a group of air dancers. The wind blows across the trees gently in time with the rhythm of the breath in the music. A wind also blows across the crowd. The air dancers float above the stage, being carried by the wind, swaying to the in and out breath of the music. We then see the Earth dance. Rocks and other parts of the Earth in the nature scene begin to move, and we see that they are dancers. We see the dancers playing with the Earth, building things out of it such as mountains, sandcastles, and sculptures. Our angelic spirit then brings a ball representing the element of fire from the east corner of the auditorium and presents it to the earth character. He throws the ball into a fire on stage and it explodes into a group of choreographed fire dancers. A holographic spirit zooms around the auditorium. It ends with a fireworks celebration. In the audience, we turn on heat lamps so the audience feels the heat from the fires. As a premonition of the dark character to come, we see a dark shadow come over the stage. Everyone stops for a moment to look up. Then the dance continues. We then see the water dance. The earth character is now about 21 years old. Water dancers emerge out of the waterfalls and pools throughout the auditorium. They do a choreographed dance in the water, swimming and diving from the waterfalls. A fine mist of water is sprayed over the crowd. We then see all of the four elements of earth, fire, air, and water on stage playing with each other just as happy as they can be, laughing and playing, playing and laughing. We then see the Queen of the Elements descend from above, where she lands on the highest point on the stage above the central waterfall. She then sings the most beautiful song of love. As the earth character watches her move and hears her song, he falls in love with her. The earth character approaches the Queen of the Elements and they engage in a sensual, loving dance. They end up embracing in perfect love as they float above the stage. This union represents all perfect, loving relationships on earth. We then see the three balls of light, representing the heart, mind, and spirit, appear inside their bodies. As the three balls of light line up, they send up a beam of light up to the ceiling. All of the element divas, angels, and beings of light are watching and enjoying from a distance. This serene, inspiring scene of love abruptly ends as a sweep of darkness, the same sweep of darkness we saw earlier in the show, flies over the stage and steals the mind ball from the Earth and the Queen of the Elements characters. The lights go out, and a spotlight comes up on the dark character wearing an unusual cloak of dark, splotchy colors. He is delighted with his new possession. He looks around to make sure no one is watching and begins an incantation with the ball. At the same moment, we see a shamanic group on the other side of the stage begin drumming, which gets more and more intense. As the ritual climaxes, there's an explosion, and as the smoke clears, we see a big glass mirrored ball about 10 feet high floating about 6 feet above the stage. This mirrored ball represents the mind, disconnected from heart and spirit. We see various images and videos representing the workings of the mind on its sides. In a big processional ritual, the dark character takes the stolen ball and lifts it up inside the mirrored ball. It lights up and we see a spectacular light show coming out of it. At this point, more and more dark characters come up on stage and begin an acrobatic choreographed dance with wires and ropes, which begins with them getting along pretty well, then develops into competition, and then develops into a full-scale battle. First, we see two light towers come surging out of both sides of the stage. A couple of red lights light up some dry ice on the stage. Flashing lights light up the ceiling from the light array. We see two large structures like skyscrapers come surging out of the stage, destroying part of the nature scene. There are dark characters on top of each structure. We see a demonic rock band in the background join in with the shaman's drumming. The demonic rock band is hammed up a bit, twisted and funny. As the music and light show gets more intense, we see all the dark characters begin destroying more and more of the nature scene on stage. At the peak, we see strobe lights come on and pollution begin coming from the buildings. The water in the waterfalls turn orange. On the ceiling dome, we see images of the Earth's destruction, such as trees being cut down, polluted streams and lakes, tsunamis, and nuclear explosions. The plants in the audience start to wilt and turn brown. Throughout this whole chaotic dance, The Element Divas, Earth character, and Queen of the Elements look on from the side of the stage with sadness and tears in their eyes. The Queen of the Elements then goes to try and stop the destruction, and she is abducted by the head of the dark characters. He drags her to the top of one of the structures. The lights focus on him grabbing her, trying to hug and kiss her. She resists and he throws her down, ripping her clothes. Again she resists, and the dark character becomes so angered that he pulls out a sword and kills her. The water throughout the auditorium now turns red, and the Earth character sees her and screams, The Earth character then goes and picks her up and carries her to the corner of the stage, where she dies in the Earth character's arms. At first, the Earth character weeps. The dark character comes walking up. As the Earth character looks up at the dark character, we see anger well up within him. The Earth character sees a sword beside him, and he picks it up and goes to kill the head of the dark forces with the sword. At the moment he raises his sword, time is frozen, and we now see a holographic image of the characters instead of real life. As the Earth character holds his sword up, massive storms and earthquakes ensue. He lowers his sword, and they stop. He raises his sword, and the earthly destruction begins again. On the dome above, we see the entire Earth once again, but this time it is marred by splotches from the destruction of the storms and earthquakes that have taken place. We then see a retrospect of the dark character's life displayed as a video on the sides of the crystal mirror floating above him in 3D. Projected above him, we see a scene of him as a child, but the image is mostly of a light body with the three lights of heart, mind, and spirit within him. We see various scenes of his life where he gets hurt by others. First, his ball of life is stolen. Then his perfect love is killed. In each instance, he is first sad, then he becomes angry. Each time he becomes angry, a copy of his facial expression flies off of his face and morphs into a dirty splotch, which starts the formation of a cloak that surrounds him. The cloak begins to obscure the lights within him. By the time the video retrospect ends, the cloak that has formed around him is the exact same cloak that we have seen him wearing since he first appeared on stage. We then see the sweet part of the dark character shriveling in the darkness and feeling quite lonely. We see that he is dying from loss of light. Our focus then shifts over to the Earth character. We see him floating up above himself in holographic form, looking down on himself as if out of body. First, we see him watch a scene where he actually kills the dark character. He watches himself as he falls to his knees in despair, as he realizes he now has two dead people beside him. We now see a splotch beginning to hide the Earth character's lights within. The Earth character then re-enters his own body. He sees the reflection of the dark character on the side of the crystal mirror, and he sees him suffering in the darkness. As he sees the light within him still flickering, then the image of the dark character transforms into an image of the Earth character himself, with the same light within. As he now sees himself suffering in the darkness, he drops the sword. Then the light from Spirit comes down and goes into both of their hearts. The Earth character looks at the light in the dark character, then looks down at the light in his own heart. He then goes up to the dark character and says to him, "I forgive you." In that moment, the cloak of darkness is lifted off both the Earth and dark characters, and all that remains are light bodies with an intense light lighting up their hearts. The Earth character and the dark character's images then merge into one person, with the ball of light now shining brightly inside. This character then goes up to the crystal mirror portal and smashes it. The ball of light comes back out and floats up high above the stage. As the seats recline again, we see the reflection of everyone in the audience in the dome. It's like the dome has become a mirror. We see balls of light come out of each person in the audience, and these 2,000 balls of light fly up toward the ceiling and do a very complex and somewhat lengthy dance, creating a wide range of sacred geometry images. All of these lights then merge into one ball of light, which comes right up to about 2 feet in front of each person in the audience in 3D. As the light hovers right in front of each audience member, it divides into 3 lights of heart, mind, and spirit as before. A light body then appears around the 3 lights, and a photograph of each person is laid over the light body, so each person in the audience sees their own face. The lights then divide into 7 vertical lights, and they light up one by one. Each person feels the sound from the 7 speakers in their seat move up and down their spine, corresponding to the lights. A song is then played through everyone's chair, and the 7 lights function as a spectrum analyzer as the people feel the sound move up and down through their body. The 7 spheres of light in front of each person in the audience then reach out horizontally, connecting with everyone else's 7 spheres of light, forming 7 horizontal concentric circles of light throughout the auditorium. These bands of light now circle the auditorium and expand in height until they fill the entire auditorium from floor to ceiling. The 7 concentric circles of light then transform into a sphere, which then slowly starts coming down to the stage. At this point, everyone's seats slowly sit up. On the stage, we see that the nature scene has been restored. The Earth character comes out on stage and sees the sun ball coming down towards him. The 3D image of the sun ball transforms into the Queen of the Elements and hovers above the stage. Seeing her coming back to life, the Earth character then rises up and joins with the light body of the Queen of the Elements. Their 2 light bodies merge again into a perfect, loving embrace. We then see the cast of Element Divas come back out on stage and begin to dance. We see the cast of Dark characters come back out, and their splotched cloaks all come off of them, and we see the light within them glowing. We even see the demonic rock band come back out, all lit up. All of the characters then do an acrobatic celebration dance on stage with the Earth character and the Queen of the Elements hovering above them all. We see all of the light bodies of the audience swirling around them in sacred geometry patterns. Flashing spheres of light also move to the music of the dance. The music then comes to a quiet section, and everyone on stage looks up at the ceiling. Some are pointing. On the dome ceiling, we see the Earth image again. We then see the Earth being healed. The dark splotches that we saw earlier go away. The earthquake fissures heal, and the Earth lights up. All of the lights fade out, and as we see the 3 lights of heart, mind, and spirit line up inside the Earth character and the Queen of the Elements, we again hear the song, "When the heart, mind, and spirit are aligned, the Earth is saved." Their light bodies then fade, and we just see the 3 spheres with the beam of light going up to the sun. The 3 spheres of light become 1 sphere, which goes up to the ceiling and merges with the sun. The sun goes across the sky, and we see the most beautiful sunset. As the stars come out, we hear the crickets again. And then the lights come up in the auditorium.